Hey, welcome along to another episode of Behind the Bar podcast. Now, I'm your host, Ross Thompson, owner of the Barbell Club in Sunderland, Durham, Concert, and online. So before we get into the show, just want to say about in our Durham unit, we have a new 11 a.m. launch starting Monday, the 1st of June. This is a small group. It's always small group weightlifting with us in-house, and it's 8 coaches to 1 people. There's going to be some links below this video. Click those links, get signed up. There are many other time slots across the other units as well, but this is a launch for an 11 a.m. We've been asked for this so many times, so we're going to get this one launched. So click those links below, book your call in, and now enjoy the show.
Well, today we have Coach Con back on the podcast. We kind of keep him away. Welcome, Con.
Hello, mate. Thanks for having me back.
It's all right. It was just a little thing last week we said, didn't we? It's like,
a few short on guests, get me in, yeah.
I mean, we were and we weren't. I wasn't actually going to do one this week, and it was like, oh, fuck it, Con said he'd do one, and you are a couple of weeks out. We did want to get you back on after the shows, but you went and booked a few more shows.
Yeah.
So you are only a couple of weeks out from your show. Like, how are you feeling right now, physically and mentally?
So it's still that thing of it's moments in a day. So I was dreadful this morning, and then kind of pulled round a little bit. Still a bit flat, tired, and just little mood changes. I'm definitely a little bit more irritable, whether that's down to being a lot leaner now or, you know, the supplementation side and that kind of thing. It could be, but it's just, yeah, I'm kind of feeling it a bit now. I'm all right, absolutely fine myself. You know, I'm not bloody depressed or out like that, but it's just like making sure you get everything ticked off. I mean, my output now for the last couple of weeks is 80 minutes cardio, 12,000 steps a day, 5 weight sessions. So the output's fairly high. Carbs for the last few days, and then going into about the next 10, 12 is going to be around 100 gram a day. So when you're doing that amount of high output, you're a bit wrecked anyway. Add in that, obviously the stims, stuff like that, which work and help with fat burn, you know, cleanse, that kind of thing. But it does have a taxation on your sort of central nervous system a little bit as well. So you're sort of trying to balance everything out. But I've enjoyed it, and like I say, even if I do feel a bit shit now, it's 2 weeks out, so I'm not going to start complaining. You know, it's still been a privilege to do it and document it as best I can. So.
But it's been a long journey. It's been like a robotic style, and I can imagine, no matter what, no matter how much people love it, I think that being so on point, on form for how long?
Well, I booked the show mid-November, and I had a few days off at Christmas, and it literally was just a few days. I had about 5 days off in January when me and my mum and some pals went to Tenerife. But that's been it. And even in those periods, I wasn't doing out stupid. I wasn't like eating for the sake of it or drinking for the sake of it, stuff like that. So it's definitely since, I think when I came back from Tenerife, I think it was 17 or 18 weeks out, and everything's been like pretty much perfect since then in terms of like any sort of off plan or anything like that. Higher carb days has been sort of planned in to be like I was supposed to do that. It's not been eating for the sake of eating. I haven't had a drink since the 13th of January, so my birthday. Not been on any sort of, not in terms of like social occasions, just knock them all on the head as well. It kind of changes you a little bit, I think, doing like a prep and doing it properly. You know, I've still been sociable, still seeing my pals, just been other ways. You just maybe go to Starbucks or go for a walk, stuff like that. And I've not missed pubs, or not that I was big into like nights out or anything like that. I got that all sort of out my system in uni, and it does us no good, as we know. So I've not missed anything as such. It's all gone pretty smooth. I mean, there's still been sort of things, bumps in the road with like life and things like that and whatever else, but it's you just have to crack on and get through it, because you can get lean, you can get to a decent point. I'm not going to say easily, but even at sort of 10 weeks out, 8 to 10 weeks out, I thought, yeah, like someone said, pack your bags and go on holiday now, I'd have been confident enough. But to get stage lean to that level is like another level altogether, where you are where you are struggling quite a bit in terms of energy, and you're doing all that extra output, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as of recording this, I've got like a photo shoot that we were just talking about before. 19 members, some of them are like super lean, but at that point of where they come in for the photo shoot with us, that is probably the point to where you've maybe got another 10 weeks after that. Like that's the level of dedication you're having to put into that. So I'd say don't worry about being tired or anything. You're fucking putting the graft in it. It's one of them things. It's like, Pete, I don't think the everyday person, I know obviously bodybuilders, they sort of get it. I suppose they don't. Or do you not get it until you've actually doing it to this point?
I think the last few days has been like, oh shit, like this is it now. You know, when my body's like, have we not done enough yet? You know, it's because as I say, because I'm like training performance has been brilliant until the last couple of days. Still been good sessions, still done like what I needed to do, but I haven't had that extra little bit, and no. Probably get onto this at some point, but no supplement's going to dig you out of that. You know, people are like, "Oh, have you tried Mox C, chucking that in, and you know, maybe up the L-carnitine or whatever." Nothing's digging you out of, you know, when you on for a better phrase, when you're knackered at that point. You can take all the SLU and bloody peptides you want, but your system's done. You just have to grit your teeth and get through it. You know, stuff like that helps. I've utilised bits and pieces in prep like that, but nothing's coming over the hill now. This is it. This is the final 17 days minus, you know, it's really 10 days because peak week, the last 7 days, you haven't sort of got your feet up, but it's more just maintaining, getting a little bit more food, dropping a bit of the fatigue off in terms of like lowering your cardio. I know when me and Kyle were talking, it was Kyle Bacon, who's coaches, so the majority of it, he's basically said like, Monday you do like a heavy session, and then your training Tuesday and Tuesday to Friday is just like basically faff about. You know, just do a couple of sets of chest, a couple of sets of shoulders, just to keep your system ticking over. He says like no sets to failure, nothing like that. So you immediately that's your gym time go down, because it's the amount of time that's gone into it. So the way, fortunately, I'm being very lucky that the way I've been able to set my days up is from getting up at 4:30 till about 12:30, aside from maybe coaching a couple of clients or saying yourself today, I can dedicate 4:30 till 12:30 like a shift to do steps, cardio, weights, sauna. Even today, a nap in the car after I'd had my pre-workout. How do you do that?
Yeah.
You know, but that's the thing, and I'm lucky to be able to do that. Yes, of course, I'll, you know, when I'm getting my steps in, I'll be answering client messages. I might be able to go into Drew Coach, do a bit of program and stuff like that. You know, I'm not just doing nothing, and on an afternoon I'll be dipping in, and if there's anything I need to do, I'm still post my content. But what I'll do is if I've done my cardio and then I've like meal one and then wait a bit till I have my pre-workout and go back into the gym, I can just be in the car editing a reel or putting something together. Like, it's utilising that time, but essentially I'm very lucky that I've been able to do that for the last few weeks, just to make sure that that's prioritised and done. Because to get to the stage lane, you know, the striated glutes, the split hamstrings, everything like that, this condition that's demanded of you, or at least the condition that I demanded myself to be in with a chance of doing all right at it, you've got to have those sort of boundaries and things in place. And in terms of fatigue, I can't be getting to 7 o'clock at night and going, oh shit, I have an hour's walking to do, because I'm knackered by that time. I mean, last night I was asleep. I was nodding off at 7:30 last night, and that was like, this isn't normally what I do, but it's needed, you know. And I'm lucky where if I can take that, I can take that. You know, I'm single, no kids, nothing like that. Again, people that want to do a prep need to think carefully about what's going on, what's in their lives, and what it takes to actually do it and do it properly. Because anyone can go on a stage, you can enter a show like, oh, tick, you know, but to actually do well and do yourself proud, there is a level of condition required that even now at 17 days out, I'm still thinking, oh shit, you know, I don't mind getting another couple of pounds off just to be a little bit more, you know. And as I say, I've still got peak weight with a walk manipulation, so on. So there's still a few tricks left, but it's this is kind of it now, where I can't slow down or foot off the gas or start letting other things creep in. It's all about, it's pretty much being selfish and saying it through, it's the idea.
Fucking slap some tan on you a bit oil, you ready, man?
That's it. Well, that's. I mean, as I say, feedback off people's been brilliant, and like Kyle, to be fair, when I sent him a couple of pictures through this morning just for checking, he was saying like ready now. It's just if we can dig a bit more and even get an extra 1% out of what you've got at the minute, we might as well. And I'm like, yeah, because with PCA, I know that they reward heavily condition. They're not it's not about if you're the biggest or anything like that, which I like, So in theory, if someone's £20 heavier than you, more muscle mass, but you're a bit leaner than them, there's the potential that you might score higher than them type thing, Whereas if I know the sort of federations, it's a bit more the old school, they want a bit more size on things like that. But I mean, I'm already thinking about sort of next year really with it as well. I'm sort of thinking like, I want to have a proper off season because I've never grown at a point of being lean. I've never had that luxury. The closest I ever did was years ago when I crash dieted and then ended up working in an office for a bit. And basically because I'd been in a physical job prior to that, at Frankie and Benny's all the time, up and down 12, 14-hour shifts. As soon as I was sat down, I suppose I was bulking, because I was out in an office, I'd lost all that activity. So that was probably the only time, but again, that did us no favours, and it wasn't from an enhanced perspective as well, which this sort of off-season, if blood work and everything else is good, then it would be to try and maximise it,
Because from coaches like me and you, the ideal, in a way, an ideal client, we would say to them, right, don't even think about bulking. We're going to strip you right down to as lean as possible, and then we're going to slowly bulk you up.
1,000,000%.
And now, this is the first opportunity you've got with it for yourself, isn't it? Yeah.
Basically, yeah, because I've been able to get a little bit of muscle on over the years, and that's just been more with, I'm trying to say do two things at once, like bulking and cutting, but it's just constantly enjoying lifting weights. And as I've tried to lose weight, I've always trained with decent intensity and stuff like that, and always tried to get stronger every time, the progressive overload side of things. But it's interesting you say about, getting someone to a point of being lean, then bulking them up. And you're right, it is hard to get people's heads around that, because I know years ago I wouldn't have got that. But you need to, as I say, have your system primed, ready to actually go into a proper gaining phase, not just be 20% body fat and think, oh, I want to gain some muscle, because it's not going to do out for you. You're just going to be a puffier version of what you are now, and it won't be visible. And I think I've kind of fell for that in the past, think, oh, champion, I muscle myself up, and it doesn't work like that, does it? So, and the leaner you get, the bigger you look anyway. Probably, I know when I was fairly heavy and out of condition but still lift weights, if I measured my arms, I'd sort of think, oh, 18 inch, I'm doing well, aye, but I was maybe 30% body fat, do you know what I mean? So now I don't know, I'm at 14, 15, but I probably, because I'm leaner, I'd look bigger, and it's chasing a look, really, not getting wrapped up in numbers and things like that. I mean, even in terms of scale weight, I've kind of bounced about for the last month or so, but the look is changing, which is what you want. And when you get to a certain point of leanness, unless you have to make weight for something, again, that's just another number to get wrapped up in. You can track it and make sure nothing's going crazy, but it's just not getting sort of too obsessed with the little variables and data,
One of the things where people say to me a lot, like, oh, I thought you'd be bigger. Because if I've shared photos or whatever of myself, I've got this, obviously I printed one off in the house when I did a photo shoot a couple of years ago, and I was 70 kilos on the picture. I look fucking huge. You would think like he's 15, 16 stone, but I'm only 5'8" as well, so it's not like, do you know what I mean? But when you do lean out, you look bigger, especially on photos.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, I'm about 80 at the minute, and there was a chap the other day, it was just general question, what are you weighing? I says, about 80 this morning, and Says, oh, I had you down for about 90. I thought, champion. You know, I just,
Exactly, yeah,
that's
yeah.
it, scale weight, mine's now, really. I mean, I started prep. I think I booked my show at 93. I've just got it in my logbook. I think I was 93 and a half. So I've took off maybe 26, 27 pound to get to this point with, you know, a few pound to go and bit of peak weight to do. And so yeah, it'd be like 30 pound really, which I wouldn't have thought I needed to lose over 2 stone, but you always have more to lose than you think, which is I think something we
Always.
touched on last time.
We did, yes, always. So as a coach, how do you find a truly successful transformation for a client?
I think the main thing I always prioritise is how are they mentally, you know, has something come on for them mentally, because for me at the moment, if I was to take myself as a, you know, if I'd signed myself up at this moment in time, yes, you know, I maybe look all right, but I know because I'm that wrapped up in what I'm trying to achieve, mentally I'm not, as I say, I'm not bloody depressed and out like that, but I know I'm not at my best in terms of like work and, you know, bandwidth, energy levels, things like that. So it'd be getting something somewhere in the middle of that and not necessarily tying it to scale weight. I think for me, a lot of the time, as long as someone comes away from me or stays with me because they get an improved confidence and they feel better in themselves and, you know, they're getting them little wins, then I'm happy with that. I mean, I've got folks that will sort of put on a check-in, yeah, went out for a meal Saturday, but I've lost half a pound this week. I'm like, champion, if you're happy with that, I'm happy. You know, it's not about trying to bury people into, you know, for these physical goals that are going to make them tired and have them struggling with work and stuff like that, especially if I mean, I couldn't do what I'm doing in like a 9 to 5 or something like that. You know, that's I'm very fortunate with what I'm able to do. I just don't think I could do it. So you've got to consider what people have going on in their lives. If someone's married with kids and a business to run, for example, potentially a prep or some massive transformation of getting and doing what I've done maybe isn't that sort of achievable for them in a way, you know, because of the demand it's gonna have on them. I mean, people can do it, and I've known them do it, and it's possible. But for me, I think as long as they have an improved sort of well-being and they're more confident, they're happy with what they're getting, than I am. You know, it's even if they still maybe a bit on the big side or something like that, but they've maybe done something where they've done a half marathon or I think now do a 10k or whatever it might be, then that's brilliant. You know, it's as long as they're happy with what they get out of it, then that's fine, you know, for me.
Yeah, I think because a lot of transformations is the before and after they've lost 40, 50, 60 pounds or whatever else. But that's not really like the true essence of the transformation. I think for me in any way, I think it's people who's like learned the habits from us as coaches, and those habits have just they've become an actual habit.
Yeah.
Like without them realizing, like it's like they're a person who does the 10k steps without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're like they have the protein with every single meal. They turn up to the gym not because they have to, because they want to. Do you know what I mean? And it's like just ingrained in those lives. And I think it's really hard to get someone a true transformation like that. It takes years and all the rest of it and an understanding of it, because some people dip in and out, come to the point of some people who, I mean, I've had people in the past who's fucking hell dropped 70 pounds and stuff like that, and they went back to square one. And it's hard.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens, but and as much as maybe I would have shared those photos as a transformation style photo, but the transformation itself didn't stick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean that's the thing. It's you've done your job and you've done what you can, because that's made me think of a couple of folks. Actually, there was a lass not so long back, and she did brilliant, and I think I've shared that before. And I seen her in a car park not so long back, and I was like, oh dear, that's Oh, I used to help her, you know. And it's one of those things, but it's just not taking it personally. I think it's like the same when a client leaves. I always think, first of all, is it like financial? Is it the fact they've got a result? Again, if it's one of those two, can't really do much about it. And then, you know, have they just got the point where, you know, they don't need coaching anymore? They've learned what they can, and that's it. And then only then, after those three things, would I think, well, was there anything more I could have done? And I don't think there ever has been. You know, I've very much always tried to prioritise service level and looking after folks and doing what I can. And rather than just trying to chase numbers and, you know, just chase sort of transformations. There's a couple of people I've got. There's a chap I still train in person that it is just for a bit of accountability for him, just so he can keep batting on and, you know, and enjoying doing a few weights. We're not sort of trying to do out mentally. He's nearly 70-year-old, and it's just good to have him in for a session a couple of times a week and keep him ticking over. You know, it doesn't always have to be, oh, we want to do this, and, you know, overwhelming folks. It's just, as long as they're happy with what they're getting out of it, that's, to me, the most important.
It's tough. Because even for us, like, so say we get these big transformations or whatever else, and unfortunately some people do move out the area, or they do have financial thing what pops up or whatever else, and we worry so much about them, like, going back over, and, like, I wish we could train everybody for free and all the rest of it, and unfortunately, like, it is when that thing stops what they've been doing, all the old habits creep in, and even they might have been with us 2 years, and no matter how much habits we've ingrained in them in that time, they've still got that 20 years worth of bad habits behind those 2 years, and those 2 years have not cancelled out them 20 years, and they just go back, and it's sad. It's sad. I think I should have brought the tissue, shouldn't I?
We should have done. But, no, it's right. It happens, but again, I think as long as you always part in good terms with folks, they'll know that the door's open for them to come back. You know, I know I've had a couple of people before that's gone away and come back, and you know, you have another go at things, and that's fine. I think it's as long as they know they've somewhere to come back to. Try not to worry about it too much, really. I think that would be.
I think on that, like, because over the years, like, people, like, we're always like, come back anytime. You're always welcome. They sometimes carry a bit of shame about asking to come back, because we've had people in the past who's been like, obviously they say they've went away, put some weight on. It's like, honestly, I was embarrassed to ring you. Do you know what I mean? I've just gained all this weight again. Like, I didn't want to have to go through it all again. And, like, some of them will go somewhere else just so they don't feel as though they have that shame. Even though, like, we're open arms and happy clappy people and all the rest of it, it's still something ingrained in them, and the embarrassment of it all. But it's like, if you are an old client from either of us, don't be scared. Get back in touch with us. We're all right.
Yeah,
we want to help you.
I'm dealing with the last time.
Yeah. We actually give a shit. So just come back. You've got the results with us in the first place.
That's it.
There we go.
No, it's right. I mean, that's as long as you part on good terms with people, I think that's the main thing. And the line you used there about actually giving a shit, I think that's the bit that gets lost with coaching, particularly through all these mentorships and stuff like that, and things I've been a part of. It's always been about trying to chase the money, get the next client in, and so on. And only things like that work for a very short period of time. If your service level drops in any way, people are going, and then that's on you. If they start going out the door, you think, well, I didn't message him, I didn't do this, I missed this, and things start racking up, don't they? And that's when you have problems.
Yeah, I've never when I used to do personal training, like, I never ever cancelled a single session. Never cancelled a single session. I'd always be there, like, a minimum of 15 minutes before every client. Yeah. And it was just that level. And I hate, like, so many people get in touch with us, like, who's had personal trainers, and they're like, they didn't show up, they double booked, and they said, "Oh, can you just jump in with this person at the same time?" and blah blah blah. It's like, how the fuck are they still going?
I've seen a lot of that in gyms over the years, and people don't last. I mean, I'm coming up to, I think, be my 5th year this time round in December, and yeah, it's there's a lot of things you see, and yeah, certain gyms have them. I think certain gyms don't, because they latch onto it and realise that it looks bad on the gym, I think. And but yeah, there's a place I used to be at a lot of years ago, and yeah, so I think I saw every bad habit in there, from the way clients got trained to how they were looked after. It was and I think if they are still going, they'll probably still have the same monetary clients they did when I was there.
So if you are a coach
Very
watching
lucky.
this, fucking up your game, will you? Fucking people rely on you.
100%.
Have you ever had a client who looked amazing physically, but you wouldn't call it a success? And why?
That's interesting. Yeah, there's a lady springs to mind, and it was an incredible job that she did with the weight loss. She was wanting to go on to be a PT, do all that kind of thing. But she was still quite unhappy in herself. You know, she still wanted the next thing and the next thing, which I admire, because that's a bit like myself. But it was like, come on, you've kind of done enough, eh? You know, what more do you want? And she was very self-conscious, a bit upset about the loose skin and things like that, which again I get. But I don't think it was going to be like a surgery job. I know there's a lot of non-surgical treatments, even ones I've experimented with, where it is just like skin tightening and it doesn't hurt, nothing like that. So again, things like that could have helped. But no, she was still not sort of brilliant mentally with it all, even though she'd done incredibly well and looked night and day from where she was. But yeah, bless her, she it had the mind kind of hadn't followed in a way. I don't think it was better, but it wasn't, you know, wasn't sort of the all rounder that it maybe should have been, or as good as it looked. You know, I think that's, as I say, I'm not sure what she's up to these days, but I do kind of worry she'll have gone back over, because there's nothing I've seen otherwise that's ever popped up on my socials about her that I've thought, oh, she's still doing well type thing. So yeah, that springs to mind.
I suppose it's that long old case of like, we're never truly happy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, to be fair, I think I'm saying I did a couple of pictures for Kyle this morning, just like sort of checking pictures, and he wrote back, you know, mega mate, like we're nearly there and all this, and even though I believe him, I know he's not just saying things for fun, you know, and I'm like, am I? You know, it's 17 days now, you know, it's yeah, and it does the way. I think when you're being a fat bastard and all, you see yourself, you never quite get out that shadow in a way, you know, you still carry it about with you a little bit. I think that's something that I've realised, I think, throughout prep, even though don't get us wrong, I've there's some pictures that I've had taken, even the ones you did for us, and I'm like, fucking hell, you know, that's me, that on there, and you know, you think, I'll get Hinge back, you know. I haven't the fucking bandwidth for that.
Not yet.
I'm 3 weeks out, love it won't work.
Yeah.
Libido, what's that? See you later. But then you sort of catch a look at yourself, maybe even in the gym, and like Bill was saying this morning, he was like, oh, you're there, pal, you're there, I can say it. And I'm like, say how it goes, you know, because it's partly the thing of my own mentality of not wanting to take my foot off the gas and think, it's a bit of a stupid thing to say, Ross, but the 17 days, but in COVID, I probably had, you know, if I've had 17 days in a row, I'd have probably had 17 cheat days in a row, you know, of like, oh, I'll just go to the shop, I'll get a couple of bags of Haribo, you know, that'd be all right today. Or, you know, I'd not blowouts every day, but even if I was just to start doing little fuck-ups like that of a couple of bags this, rich tea biscuits, they're only 20 calories a piece, I'll have a pack of that, you know. Because you know, there's still that there, because that's how I used to be. I think the days of like binge eating and comfort eating's gone. I mean, really, it probably sounds daft, but the whole post-show binges people have, I can't really think of how worse at the minute, because I just think for me, from like even a digestion standpoint, I think I'd fail awful, because I know what that horrible failing's like of doing it, you know, for years, comfort eating and things like that, and I don't think that would be the way to go with it, like. But even in the run-up, I'm thinking if I was to just start having a little bit here and there, like, you could knock it up. You know, it's especially so close now, you know, if you do something a bit daft, you're probably going to lose a couple of days where the look's a bit blurred, or you're holding a bit of water and you're thinking, oh, you know, you're not going to undo your prep, but you don't want to sort of be having that extra pressure and stress around you when everything else is going on, you know.
So a true transformation, let's spin this round a little bit. If you were coaching you, and you seen where you were at, and to where you're at now, and to all them things you've just said there, you're not going to binge eat and all the rest of it. If you were your coach, you would think it's a true transformation, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, when you put my sort of 20 clam picture next to the 12.5 stone picture where I'm at now, but you know, it is good, but at the same time, I do want the next thing, and that's why I think I booked the other shows, because of course the way it fell with it the first time is hopefully I qualify for the Universe the week after. Again, people's been very nice about that. Oh, you'll get that easy. You went, not fucking necessarily, you know, like it. Don't, you know, people have said, you'll get that. You'll be all right. Well, it depends how it turns up on the day, and there's only going to be a few spots left for it now, because this is like the last show before the Universe, literally the week before it. So they're not going to be giving them away for fun. So I've got to get that, and then my pal John Youssef, I got a bit crack with him the other week, and he's doing the show in Liverpool, the IBFA, and I thought,
who's that?
John Youssef. He's
Youssef.
a nice coach. He's got a school community as well about sort of bodybuilding and literally everything to do with that. Everything from posing to training, supplements, the lot. It's very good.
Have you heard of Johnny and Youssef?
Yes. That's yeah.
That's who I thought you were talking about. Yeah.
No, so but John's doing it. I was like, you know, do that, might as well. And they said it's the well organised shows and stuff like that. So I thought, we'll try that. And then I thought, well, the PCA, I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy my time with them. So the Southwest is the week after, and I'd have probably done another PCA one the week before that instead of that Liverpool one. But there's no show for them that weekend, so I'm just doing them. And I think that was just because I want the next thing in a way, you know. And then of course there's that Ultra, which I'm kind of last thing on my mind at the minute. I'm not, I haven't even got my fucking kit for it yet. You know, you read the kit list, you know. I just thought you just need, you know, shoes and a couple energy gels. Oh no, you've got to have a rucksack of this and that. Oh, tell you, mate. What can I say? Fucking Wim off. You know, it's just, it's only on about waterproofs and this. I think it's June. If it rains, it'd be warm rain. I'm sure it'll be all right. But so that's after I'm past the first sort of marker. All that'll get dumped. You know, the fly tipping, backpack off. Right, shorts and t-shirt. Off we go. We'll be fine. You know, it's can't carry all that around. Be knackered after the first mile. like you know. Really trope round with a rucksack on. No, I'm all right. So that's what the aid stations are for.
So I'm going to go back to my point there,
sorry.
where your coach is telling you look good, you're great, and all the rest of it, and you're still having that self-doubt. But if you were your coach, right, put yourself in that position, you would tell your client, aka you, you're fucking unreal, wouldn't you? Take you out the equation.
Yeah, it's a good, I'd expect a few sign-ups on the back of it, like.
Yeah, well, exactly.
To be fair, that's picked up a bit, to be honest. We're in a better spot. But
so you need to give yourself a bit more. I know you are giving yourself credit, to be fair. Like I've had good conversations with you.
I think when it's, once that first show's out the way and I get things back like the stage photos and you're seeing yourself as best as humanly possible with, you know, the tan, the stage lights, you've done your carb up, your water drops, so on. You've done all the little bits, and you're getting the best possible look on the day. Then I'll probably look and be like, oh fucking hell, like, you know, I'm pleased with that. But I think until then, I'm just wary of thinking, well, you know, if I have a bit of a funny turn, accidentally end up in the Greg's car park, you know, it's you know, because it's always there in the back of my mind. Obviously, I've no intention of doing that, but you know, you still kind of worry about these things a little bit, and you know, the job's not done yet. You know, even though people are complimentary and oh, you're there now and you're ready, like it's, you know, there's still time yet. There's still, you know, not including sort of peak weight, there's still a good sort of 5-6 gym sessions at least to do. There's still hours of cardio, hours of steps to do, and hours of starving to do. So we're just starting to get there a little bit now, you know, but nothing's going to cure that. That's just something you have to get on with. If I'd felt like this at 6 weeks out, I'd have been pretty worried, but for like 2 weeks out, I'm sort of like, yeah, this is fine.
It's the end now, man.
That's it. It's the last little bit. It's the last little bit. So,
and just make sure you celebrate your wins.
Yeah,
I know it's going to be hard.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that because again, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'll follow what Kyle wants in terms of like the nutrition front, but I'm sort of thinking to be, because I'm actually going to come back from Birmingham the Saturday. After the show, so I'm hoping like Sunday I'd maybe have like, you know, Sunday dinner, something like that, just something a bit nice, bit of an off plan, because I think for the show day I'll be having next to now anyway, because if the shows run the way they did this week, I'm sure like I'll be on about 10:30 in the morning or something. So
well, it's good to get it done early.
Yeah, and then it's just up to me if I stick around for the overall, which will be, I don't know, sometime in the afternoon. But fortunately, my pal Bill's coming down with us, and he's going to sort of take us back, like, so that'd be all right when I nod off in the nod off in the car, come back from Birmingham. I know I'm in safe hands. So, but I'm looking forward. It's nice that the end's in sight, because I know that. I'm trying to think when we sat down. I'm sure it was about 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
Yeah, was it 12? Bloody hell. So yeah, so it's to get to this point. You know, I'm happy with it. I feel all right. You know, and in terms of everything else, you know, people say, oh, you know, oh, if you're taking this, are you taking that, and oh, watch out for this, watch out for that. And I've been fine. You know, in terms of everything I've taken supplement wise, and I've had no moments of madness in terms of like mood or anything like that. Now I'm very lucky with that, how I've just been able to respond to stuff and get through stuff, and you know, that's another positive as well. And when I got my bloods done about 5-6 weeks ago, everything was perfect, and I was like, well, this is like a good sign that I'm on the right thing, like. So it's just keep doing what I'm doing and keep my head for the last bit, and I'll be all right, you know.
From your totally different topics. Well, it is and it isn't. From your perspective, what's the current state of the fitness industry?
It's on its arse, really. It's all this AI stuff creeping in, I'm saying, with coaches, and a lot of these posts that people are making all read the same. You know, all this chat GPT shite. Now, you spotted a mile off. I mean, as soon as, even without the dashes in, you know, that people put just the tone, and you think, well, you don't talk like that. I mean, there's a chap who's in the like photography, videography stuff, and I follow him, and his post now is all chat GPT. Like, you're too bloody thick to talk like that. It's rubbish, this. It's all nonsense, what they're coming out with. And that's the worrying bit. It's all getting very generic as well. There's a lack of coaches just being themselves. I mean, I'd like to think that I do my own thing and stuff like that, and I just try and be as transparent as possible, but there's a lot that they're all reading from the same hymn sheet, which we all do, because it is the same thing of, you know, calories in, calories out, good foods, bad foods, trait failure. Yeah, it's just that's it. It's all the same kind of stuff, and I think we're getting very wrapped up in this whole peptide and retatrutide sort of craze as well. There's a lot of content creators coming out with stuff around that, and don't get us wrong, I've utilised numerous things, but I've kept my mouth shut on it because I'm not a doctor. We haven't got human studies on certain things, so you can't be peddling and promoting stuff and trying to, you've got to watch what you do. And Instagram's right, hot on it. People are getting shadow bans, things like that. They'll post about certain things and they're not getting the reach that they should, because like compared to like a normal post they'll do, and it's like, if you've got to watch what you're saying. Like it's in terms of, that's why, I mean, don't get us wrong, I've been very transparent with sort of what I've used, and as I say, I think it'd be worth me sort of doing an episode where I'll run through everything, say, right, this is exactly what I've done, so on and so forth. But until I sort of get my bloods back at the end of all this, I'm not really, I mean, don't get us wrong, lads, the gym, and when the cameras are off, tell you what you want, but I don't want people getting ideas and think, no, Con's used this and he looks all right, so I'll be fine. Yeah, but I think at the same time, I've been very lucky in the amount of health stack that I've got in place for engineered muscle, to look after as many blood markers as I can, is also like the top of the list before you start taking super supplements. You've got to have your defence in place before you stick your attackers on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's so again, you've got to be very careful of that. And I think again, a lot with the content and fitness industry, and that we are sort of looking for this next sort of shortcut and breakthrough and this and that, but stuff's not necessarily approved yet for like consumption. It's dangerous, and I think again, like authenticity, people aren't really being themselves, and it is kind of going to go to a point, I think maybe a year or two's time, where it'll kind of go back to how it was maybe 5-6 years ago, if not longer, where there aren't that many coaches because they're struggling to get people in. I mean, there was a chap, I got like an outbound message off him, and it was obviously like some, I don't know, VA working for him, maybe, established page, and it was just a very generic message at about 10 o'clock last night, and then he'd sent a follow-up, or VA or whatever, sent a follow-up like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up all this morning, I was like, is this how this bloke's getting clients? It was just a general, didn't even personalise it, nothing like that. And his second message was, all right, it was like, first message was something like, are you working towards any goals at the moment? And then a couple hours later, or are you not going to the gym at the moment? I thought, why, cheeky bastard. It's, I just, but obviously he hadn't been on the page of the VA, and it's just this copy and paste crap that Charlie Johnston and all them idiots teach, which, again, it doesn't work. People are wise to it. I mean, I do a little bit of outbounding, but it'll always be to actually give people something. Certainly when, I've done a lot of things with like recipe books, training guides. It's certainly, hi Ross, cheers for the follow. Here's a free training plan. You're probably not even going to reply to it, but at least you've thought, hang on, you've not tried to sell us anything, eh? You've not said, let's jump on a call. You've not, he's just left us to it. Maybe 2 weeks' time, say, hello, mate, did you open that training plan? Yeah, shit. Oh, cheers, Ross. End of chat, but again, that's, because I think people see it coming as well, and I think puts people off the amount of folks that are maybe wanting a little bit of genuine help. They feel and they're getting sold to all the time with these people that's coming through with the same generic rubbish and the outbound messages and so on. It's to a point it is getting saturated, but it's not getting saturated in a good way of people actually trying to help people. Even if I put a post on that could be seen as like, oh, look at me or something like that, if it's like a photo, share picture, something like that, the caption underneath will always be something that's like worthwhile, maybe saying, there was some photo share pictures I put on the other week, but it was quite a lengthy post. It was like, this isn't a look at me post, this is, I was someone that would never have dreamed of doing a shooting his pants, having abs, smiling in photos with his top off, so on and so forth. And I went into all that, and it got quite good engagement, but it wasn't because necessarily of how I looked. It was more just like, oh, hang on, he's actually told us a story, and said something worth actually saying. And then again, I'll put like sort of my transformation on before and afters, link it in with clients and what I'm doing. And of course, when we you help me with the content side of things. It's, again, trying to make something relatable, and to myself, I'm not... And until I get through these shows anyway, I'd never even consider putting anyone through like a show or anything like that, because I'm still learning all the time anyway, learning on the job. So I'll only coach what I know, whereas some people are extremely knowledgeable, and there's a chap in particular I can think of, but he feels like he's trying to talk to everyone. You know, he'll be on about, you know, water and salt manipulation one day, and then he's talking about why he can't lose body fat. Well, if you're talk about a peak weight, you must know what you're doing and not need to lose any body fat. You know, he's sort of trying to talk the niche of the bodybuilder, but then he sort of talk about, you know, Susan who wants to lose a couple of stone. You know, it's like, what's your messaging, who are you talking to? And that's something that people need to get clear on. I think I go through a lot of these pages, and I've been doing a bit of mentoring with a few coaches myself, just to kind of get them underway. And when you try and talk to everyone, you talk to no one.
But that's actually a strategy.
Well,
so that's a strategy of you've got your niche, but then you do have to do some broad topics to bring the broader audience in, because that'll get posted to more people to then get that. Because if you're only posting your niche, it's only ever going to like a smaller audience. But when you do the broad one, like of how to lose 10 pounds in 10 weeks, do you know what I mean? Then it goes to that broader thing to bring people into your circle. And then if they like the nichier stuff,
they'll stick around.
Yeah,
I mean, I think everyone has, to a point, even their own way of doing it as well. I mean, I think my sort of way that works best is not always, but when I talk about myself in quite a few posts, and I'm doing that, think about things that I've done or shown my own journey, I think that's what works for me. Whereas with some people, it maybe doesn't. But then they might have, you know, better knowledge about something, or have a specific thing around training that they like, and then you can talk more about that. Whereas my sort of training and philosophies like stops and ends with about Dorian Yates. You know, I'm not sort of on about the mesocycles and the microcycles and all, you know, and trying to be too technical. It's, you know, but to some people that's not, they'd rather listen to sort of the more in-depth kind of knowledge around training, which I've got to a point. I've got my S&C qualification, stuff like that, but the training I enjoy, and the majority of clients I'll have train, they'll be in that way, unless they've got, again, limitations or significant body fat to lose and so on. But if they're trying to just muscle themselves up, it'll be, you know, go and bend the style, you know, don't be prattling about.
Because I mean, from that, I think we went down a rabbit hole of social media in the fitness industry.
Oh, yes.
But from me, like what I see this fitness industry currently at, and it's hard because when I was listening to you there, everything's through what you're surrounded by.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just the wider, broader audience of the fitness industry. It's the same as me. I can only see like what's sort of around me, because some of the things what you see, I'm not even in that world. Do you know what I mean? I'm in a little bit of a different world. I mean, obviously the place where you train, the place where I train.
Yeah.
So it all matters. But like, I think as a whole within the fitness industry, I do see, I've said it loads of times on this, but it's like, I see resistance training being at the forefront of everything now. Yes, we've had the CrossFit now. You've got the High Rocks, which is huge at this moment in time. But for now, that aging population, like the talks around menopause as well, is that resistance training needs to be put in as we're getting older. Even the weight loss jab crew, them are getting hammered into it. You need to be doing resistance training. So that's what I see as like a good thing in the fitness industry. Obviously, where you talked about the AI stuff, it's like, I think that probably comes down to the online coaching world.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because like, those aging population who are getting told to weightlift, they're going through menopause, been through menopause, whatever else, and some of them don't even know what fucking chat is. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a lot of them don't even know what AI is, and all these gurus who me and you probably see and all the rest of it, AI's the future. But like Doris she's fucking only just learned iMessage.
Yeah.
So I sort of see the fitness industry, like as a whole of everybody as well, I see it going well in especially weightlifting areas, and more.
Yeah, there's definitely positives there.
Yeah, and more, a lot more women getting into weightlifting as their sole thing instead of what it used to be. Cardio. So where do you see the future of the fitness industry is going?
I just worry that people are going to get overwhelmed with too much information, because I think we kind of border a little bit on that at the moment, where who do you listen to, what strategy should you follow, and I think going back to what I mentioned before, even just on like the flip side of that for coaches, like what mentor do you listen to? What do you push something like a 12-week program? Do you push a one-to-one program? You know, in my method, do you sort of say about 6 months with someone? I think it's just people getting overwhelmed by too much and maybe looking for shortcuts. But I think having too much information's better than not enough. You know, at least we're not in the days of people needing to go to libraries and search for hours. They maybe have that freedom of choice, and because there's so many well-kitted gyms to even try what works for them, but more importantly, have the freedom to say what they enjoy program-wise. And, you know, as long as they have some basic principles in place, like I've said, how important the resistance training is, then I think hopefully people are going to get fitter and be more educated in some sort of capacity with it, I think.
I mean, I was like, so I'm not a mentor, but like at this agency who I am with, and they did some stats the other day about like how much actually people are, like there's more and more people joining the gym every year. Like the percentage is going up, and
Yes.
like the percent, because it had I wish I had this for this, but it had like personal training, online coaching, small group personal training, large group personal training, general gym memberships, and it was like showing you the percentage of like what's going up each year. So I think their study was from, what's the website? It's an app. It's an app where like some gyms will have it where the clients check in on those, not check in on the app, like they'll sign into the gym on the app, they'll buy like a class pass on the app and stuff like that.
Got you.
Legit Fit, that's who it is.
Right.
They put out this study of all these things, and it was crazy the percentage of people who are now joining the gym year on year. So I think the misinformation thing, when you were saying it, was like, we've always been misinformed.
Yeah, true.
Because fucking before social media, there was your Hello magazine, your fucking whatever magazine, Cheryl Cole's on this diet, fucking Tonya, whoever. Sorry, Tonya. Which celebrity's called Tonya? Yeah, but it's all these things. Yeah, exactly. Similar. Yeah, exactly. We've always been in a world of misinformation. And I think now, I don't know, it's same again, I'm living in my bubble. So it's like, let's say the broader audience people, I mean, James Smith doesn't really do much coaching stuff himself. It's all the nutronic drink stuff now. But he said it in a great way of just calories in, calories out. And a few other people like that who are really, really popular. Who's the air fryer guy? Sean Casey.
Yes, Sean.
Yeah, Sean Casey. I seen him at an event last year. Went down to see one of his event things. But anyway, him, like, they say it in a very easy way, and it's basic. Do you know what I mean? So if you follow the right people, I suppose it's hard to follow the right people, isn't it? If you come across the right people who just make sense, and those like guys are or were doing all the right things, and I think the future of it can nothing be but positive.
Yeah, true. I think as well, finding people that you actually like and connect with personality-wise. Like, because again, it's like social media thing is major, but if you like the person, you're going to be more likely to sign up with them and that kind of thing as well. But I think with the being a range of coaches at the minute, I think there is someone for everyone. Like, someone will connect with someone somewhere and go, oh, I like him, I like her, like, oh, I'll sign up with them, and you know. So I think that's a good thing, is if they can build a good connection with them, and then they'll think, right, well, I'll listen to this person. Even if they never sign up with them, even if they just enjoy the content, I think that's a good start. So at least they can get a little bit of education there, you know.
Yeah, actually, I like that. because I think in a world of disconnect, where we aren't talking to as much as each other in person anymore, and we do live in this www world, you know what I mean? We live in this world, we live through apps, and if you can connect, that they seem like my people, he seems like my person, he sees the same story as me, he has the same struggles as me. I think the future is going to be on, I'm trying to think of the word, like versus like, what is it? You attract.
Yeah.
What's it called? You attract the...
You like, your vibes, your tribe, something like that.
There's that, like attracts like.
Law of attraction.
That's
or
it.
Something.
Yeah,
there
like attracts like. So I think you're right in that. I think the future is going to be sort of like attracts like. You're going to find your tribes, you're going to find your places to go, you're going to find your online coach who has that huge connection with. And I suppose if you can find that, and you're doing your resistance training, you're eating your protein, you're doing the fucking absolute basics, I think we're in a good future.
Certainly.
So after the shows, what's next?
Well, I've got that bloody ultra marathon.
I forgot about that. We said this 10 weeks ago.
Yeah, that'd be all right. I mean, I think it sounds more extreme than it is. I mean, in theory, I've got 26 hours to do it. So even if I just take it as a steady walk, I'll get through it. It's trying to get through it, not do out stupid. You know, it's not like marathons and stuff where you're thinking, I want sub 4 hours or sub 4:30 or half marathon, I want under 2 hours. At a time, I couldn't give a shit. I just need to finish it. You know, it's, it was something I deferred from last year, just with injuries and other things. And I thought, right, well, I can defer it. So I forgot all about it. By that point, I'd booked my shows. I booked the first show with the hope of getting into the universe. So yeah, it's just a case of getting it done and say what happens. But as I say, like, it's a charity job as well for my mental health, so hopefully get a few quid there, and I just put one foot in front of the other, and hopefully I'll be sat here on the Wednesday after it. They can come and visit us at the RVI, whichever.
Massage your feet. We'll get Leah in to massage your feet while it's on.
That's it. You know, we'll broadcast live from the hospital and see how we get on.
So we'll obviously put all the links below for Con, but just tell us where people can find you.
As always, Instagram, Ashton Online Coaching. That's probably the best place, or YouTube at Coach Con. That's pretty much it, really.
Yeah.
There you go.
Always a pleasure. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you
very much.